Welcome to Dr. Fred Markets. This is not financial advice. While most people scroll past the noise, a few take the time to understand what's really going on. Finance, crypto, artificial intelligence, this is where it all connects. You made the right choice being here. Let's dive in.
Your safe index fund just turned into a leveraged bet on 6 companies you don't understand. S&P 500 up 1% today, sitting at 7,467-ish, but more than 30% of that index now lives inside just a tiny mega-cap tech click. Nvidia alone pumped another 3% today and drags your diversified retirement along for the ride. At the same time, regulators scream about too big to fail banks while quietly allowing the most crowded trade on earth. Everyone's retirement jammed into the exact same passive products, all benchmarked to the same top-heavy index. And while you're celebrating your 401k going up, the boring, ignored small-cap universe trades like it's stuck in 2022. Valuations cheaper, volatility higher, liquidity thinner. The exact setup that punishes complacent herds and rewards people willing to look away from the shiny AI casino. So here's the tension. The safer your portfolio feels, the more you are secretly leveraged to a bubble you don't control. Let's get precise. Signal 1. S&P 500 concentration is now insane by historical standards. The magnificent handful of megacaps own north of a third of the index's weight. That means if those names sneeze, your index fund catches pneumonia. Most boomers think they own 500 companies. In reality, they rent 6 very expensive ones and get 494 side characters as window dressing. Signal 2. Small caps have been left for dead. Look at a broad small cap index versus the S&P since 2020. The gap is wide, brutal, and embarrassing. Valuations for a lot of decent small companies trade at single-digit earnings multiples, while the megacaps still ask you to pay luxury brand prices for incremental growth. That disconnect doesn't last forever. It ends with rotation or pain, sometimes both. Signal 3. Passive flows don't think, they obey. Every paycheck that hits a target date fund, every robo-advisor contribution, every set-it-and-forget-it plan dumps more money into the same cap-weighted monsters at the top. That mechanical bid pushes megacaps higher, which makes them a bigger weight, which forces more buying. That's not wisdom. That's an algo feedback loop with your retirement duct taped to it. Here's the cliffhanger. What happens when that machine reverses even a little? Not a crash, just a decade of meh from the giants, while the small stuff quietly eats their lunch. The connection. You're not diversified, you're benchmarked. The market sold you a story.
Does what you just heard shift something for you? That feeling, that need to know more, is exactly the right reaction. Most people never get there. You just did. Let's keep going.
Own the S&P, own the economy. The data says you own a narrative pumped by passive flows and AI-fueled hype in a handful of names, while the rest of the market trades on clearance. Cap-weighted indexes are momentum junkies in a suit. They overweight whatever worked yesterday and underweight tomorrow's winners by design. The S&P 500 is not a neutral scoreboard. It's a popularity contest that auto-rewards the current king. Today's king is mega-cap tech. Tomorrow's king rarely wears the same crown. Meanwhile, small caps are where new leaders are born. Every mega cap you worship today was once a small cap nobody cared about. The reason you don't feel that in your portfolio is simple. Your index fund buys leaders after they win, not when they're still cheap, ugly, and misunderstood. So what do these 3 signals mean together? They say this: the biggest risk-free trade on earth is already crowded, already concentrated, and already pricing in perfection. The actual diversification lives in the stuff you've been trained to ignore, because it's not a meme, not in the headlines, and not sitting in every 401k menu. This is not financial advice, but here is the truth. If your entire future sits in a cap-weighted S&P fund, you are running a single-factor bet. Big tech stays God forever. History laughs at that assumption. Here's what you do with this. First, audit your exposure. Pull up your 401k, IRA, brokerage, whatever. Add the weights. If over 70 to 80% is just S&P trackers and total market funds, admit you're not diversified. You're indexed to one concentrated story. Awareness is step 1. Second, study equal weight and small cap indices, not TikTok. Look at a simple equal weight S&P versus the cap weight S&P over different decades. Look at small cap value versus mega cap in the early 2000s. Learn the one mechanism, where flows concentrate, risk concentrates, where attention vanishes, opportunity accumulates. Third, design one small experiment. Carve out a tiny slice of your set it and forget it into something that doesn't worship the top 6 names, an equal weight index, a serious small cap fund, or even just a simple basket of boring, profitable small companies you take time to understand. Not YOLO, just a deliberate tilt away from the herd. You learned one thing today. Your index fund is not neutral. It's a leveraged opinion about mega caps. Now decide whether you actually believe that opinion enough to stake your entire future on it. Subscribe, come back tomorrow, and we keep tearing apart the lazy myths Wall Street sells as safety. This is not financial advice. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe to the channel and check the links in the first comment below.
That's a wrap for today on Dr. Fred Markets. I hope this gave you something to think about, a new angle, a clearer picture, a better question to ask. Remember, this is not financial advice. Do your own research, always. If this video added value to your day, subscribe. It's free, it takes 2 seconds, and it's the best way to support this work and keep it free for everyone. You'll also find every video as a full article on the blog, drfredmarkets.com, and the newsletter is in the bio. I'm Dr. Fred Markets. See you in the next one.